Hello everyone. Thank you for joining me today. Can you hear me all right? How's it going, Deltran? Good to see you here. Good to see so many people able to join today. Awesome. I'm glad that my voice is coming through clearly. This is my second live stream. We did some testing yesterday, so a lot to improve, a lot to work on. I'm still working on finding a good mirroring software so that there's not as much latency and lag with the display you're seeing of my game and what I'm seeing on screen. And that's why the audio jumps like that sometimes right now. But hopefully we can work our way through that and it won't be too much of an issue. It might come up during Void Zephyr gameplay. But good to see you guys. Thanks for saying hi. Hopefully all of you can get to know each other in the chat and we can do this every now and then. And since this is a co-op game, I think it's a really fun way to get together and play. But before we actually get into gameplay, I wanted to start off with the preview we got of the Next Summon Showcase. So I have the video that was uploaded to Twitter that's in Japanese. So we're going to take a look at that really quick. Sword or Shield? I did see the Pokemon Direct this morning. It's going to depend on the version exclusives to me. I think I'd lean towards Shield, but it's going to depend on that for sure. Yeah, I'm still looking into those options for sure. Toast Crumb, good to see you back. And we are going to defeat a lot of Zephyrs today, so don't worry at all about that. I'm gonna remove this text really quick and get up our preview so we can start watching the trailer. We'll watch the trailer and then we'll pull up the actual game and look through the text preview we got. Yeah, Shield, I would. I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of a pacifist, you know? Sword's a little bit aggressive to me, but swords are cool. I mean, I like swords in this game, in Dragalia, so let's get the preview going. So I'm going to watch this along with you guys. I have seen it once, so I kind of have an idea, and I've seen the units. I don't speak or read Japanese, so maybe you'll be able to help with translating. I have seen some translations on Reddit, some loose translations, but here we go. So, Dragalia lost. Maybe get these in English once again. I think there's a Chinese one out too. First, we're gonna look at the 5-star. There is Albert. Albert's art looks so good to me. And correct me if it's Albert. I assume it's Albert, but I don't really know. The video audio is really loud. I'm gonna lower that. Sorry. I'll actually just mute the audio. Is it muted now? For some reason, I actually can't hear the audio. Still hear it really loud? Not muted? Alright. I assume it's muted now. Whoa, thank you so much, Francisco. I didn't know I had that enabled. But thank you so much for the donation. That is really awesome. I really appreciate it. I'm still sorting out streaming, as you can see, so it's gone. It's gone completely, right? But the audio's gone too. That's the main thing. I don't want to deafen you guys. So let me see where I can maybe mute this. I am on OBS, Deltran. Perhaps you can help me. I am playing a local media source. Deltran does know all the hot tips. This is a fact, I'm pretty sure. But adjust the volume of each individual audio input. Oh, Got it, guys. I had to scroll down. I didn't see it there. So we're going to try this again. We're going to put that volume really low. Thank you so much for that tip. That actually helps a ton. So let's try again. And let me know if I'm getting drowned out. And I'll try yet again. Here we go. Is this sounding better? Yeah, I was in the mixer at the very bottom under my mic, and I didn't see it there. I didn't know I could scroll. Much better. Okay, that's a relief. So I was just saying that Albert looks really cool. I love his artwork. Not really a lot of analysis on this side because I can't tell what these do from the Japanese text. I know that we'll get into his kit a little bit later, but his kit looks sick, and I love that these videos, you actually get to see the animations and the timing and everything. Practically no sound from the video. Well, I'll raise it a little bit. So Gilgamesh also looks awesome. Look at the dragon animations on him. I feel like he, you know, I could be wrong. I don't have all the 5-star dragons, but I feel like his attack patterns are unique. It looks a little like Cupid with the way he shoots out those arrows, or swords in his case. And then we get this worm print, which provides sword skill damage. And we'll take a look at the second ability. I forgot what that one is. I think it's Dragon's Claws. And then this one provides Shadow Affliction Guard and Shadow Res, or Light Affliction Guard, excuse me. Both have cool artwork. And then we get another light sword user. She looks really pretty. Attack type, so she's going to have some good strength. And this lance user too, with the midriff. Maybe he is a secret Sylvan. I don't see any ears on him, but he looks cool. This, I think, is skill prep and recovery potency. And this is Bog Res. Everything looks pretty good in this banner. I'm just not sure if I want to invest into a light banner or not. So I have this on loop. It's going to go through again. Let me look at your comments for a minute. Gilgamesh's animations are definitely unique. They are gorgeous. I agree with that. The second worm print seems great. I am wondering about that. I know a lot of people didn't like the Happy New Year worm print, and that kind of does the opposite. It gives you Shadow Res. Actually, it's kind of the same. I think they both give you Shadow Res. Is that right? Or does that one give you Light Res? I forget. Think about this. Gilgamesh Tamer. After playing with Prometheus, I will say Gilgamesh is pretty appealing to me. So I do like that extra elemental resistance. I honestly feel like it makes my High Midgard Stormbringer clears way more comfortable. Yeah, Dragon's Claws on Naveed and Slayer Strength. So I'm going to be really curious to see what other 4-stars are featured here that might make or break my decision. Since there's no 4-star dragon in the trailer, we have to assume it's an existing dragon. And I'm not crazy about Lindworm or Unicorn. But maybe if there's a really good 4-star worm print as the other worm print, that could tip the scales for me. Yeah, Albert would be awesome. I have invested a lot into my swords and my sword dojos. So if I got him, I could build him up right away. And I'm planning on dismantling my flame sword, and I could use the materials to make a light sword. And the light sword at 5 stars is pretty good. Alright, the second loop of this preview is coming to an end, so we're going to get into the game itself and look through the actual descriptions of everything. I'm going to turn this off. Hopefully you won't be hearing any loud audio coming from that in the background or something like that, but let me know if you are. And I've tried to add a few more widgets today. Everything's still kind of a work in progress, but let's see if these work out. So here's our game. Of course, I have to have it on Levin's Champion since this was our clue that Albert was coming. I have a chat box, which maybe you guys like or dislike. Let me know. I know on YouTube it's pretty easy to see the chat on the side already. And of course, we have to have Eleonora here just for the visual. I think that the chat box is kind of disappeared. It'll probably just proc when new chat messages show up, I think. So let me know if that works out for you guys. If not, I'll just get rid of it. The shadow res isn't what I like about it. So you like the Affliction Guard? I'm curious about that because I didn't get the Rose Prince. But here we go. Let's go to the actual preview that we got in-game itself and take a look at that. Thunder and Splendor. These showcases always have really dramatic names, which I kind of like. So it starts February 28th. So it starts tomorrow. It lasts until March 12th. I definitely think that we are going to get Gala right after that. That's my prediction. And nothing here is said to be limited time. So these are going to be in the normal summoning pool. And that is a factor for a lot of people. A lot of people like seasonal alts, or they like things like Gala Cerise, which are not seasonal, but they're kind of limited time. So here we go with Albert. He is an attack type. He's a sword unit, light element. Really nice strength stat here. I want to say this is the same as Naveed's strength. I'm not quite sure. I know that Naveed and Xander both have a really high strength, but not quite as high as Mikoto, Ieyasu, and the Wand 5 stars. They're like 520 or a little bit lower in the Wand's cases, I think. Prefer to keep chat in box. Chat box is good. So let me know. I'll just leave it for now. If it's annoying you guys, I'll move it. But his stats already are good. He's a really cool looking adventurer. I can see him being really appealing. And I think we're all wondering why we got another light showcase. And when we got this shadow drop globally, it makes perfect sense to me that they would want him, an existing character, to appeal to new players. And if you are a new player, I think he's a really good character to summon because he's light element. He's the 12th highest in strength. That's pretty good. I know that there are some stronger light adventurers. I assume Lucretia has more strength than he does. Yeah, it can be hard to read. Let me see if I can tweak that really quick. I set a background color as black in OBS, but for some reason it's not showing up. So I'll just go ahead and hide it, I think, and then I'll work on that in the future. But for Albert, let's go into his kit. Lightning Burst deals light damage to target and nearby enemies. Seems solid. It looked to have a pretty cool pattern from the video preview that we got to see. Besides that, Thunderous Impulse electrifies the user for 20 seconds. When electrified, the user's 4 strikes may inflict paralysis, and the Lightning Burst skill is powered up. When not electrified, the gauge for this skill will fill gradually. That is a really exciting mechanic to me. I would love to see more mechanics like that, where this gives you a potentially different play pattern, because normally you have to be fairly aggressive to get SP. You can't necessarily focus on dodging. You can't necessarily like try to play a bit more defensively. This could actually enable that to where you get your Thunderous Impulse ready passively. Now, because so many quests are timed, it doesn't exactly work out that way, I think. And it says abilities that increase skill gauge fill rate will not affect this skill. So, unfortunately, I feel like the dream of Lunar Festivities, which provides striking haste and 4 strike damage, that's probably not going to work out. But I do wonder, you know, will this skill increase its fill rate? Or like, will you be able to fill up the gauge with attacks? Because it says abilities don't affect it, but will you just be able to fill it up normally? Or does it only fill up passively? I assume you'll be able to fill it up normally. But yeah, I think that as we saw on Kuhai, this has a lot of potential. 4 strikes are really good on sword units. They deal a lot of damage. They deal a lot of damage to the overdrive gauge. So this seems really promising. Hey, thank you so much, Wolfchain. Appreciate the donation. I will. You too, man. You can't use skill haste with Albert. It has to fill normally. Yeah, so you can't use skill haste, but can you just attack and fill it up? Or does it only fill up passively? That's my question about it. I think you can attack too. Appreciate the donation again, man. See you later, Wolf. But anyway, Albert also has Dragon Haste, being a sword user. Force Strike plus 50%. This is a massive boost to Force Strike damage. I think that this is what kind of separates Xander from Naveed right now. Because if you look at both of them, their kits are fairly similar. Naveed has Slayer Strength. Xander has Striker Strength. They have that same mechanic, but Xander's Force Strikes are so strong that it's easy for him to one-shot and defeat enemies with them. So it's kind of easier for him to build up. So I could see this being really powerful. Electrically Charged, too, increases strength by 25% when electrified, and Poison Res of 100% suggests that the raid boss is going to inflict poison at the least. Do I think High Zodiarch anytime soon? Probably not. I kind of think High Jupiter might come next, but that's all speculation. So the nice thing is Light has a lot of tools. Like Deltran pointed out, the upcoming Wormprint. There's also Heavenly Holiday. Light has a lot of tools, if we ever get dual Wormprints, to actually make it so he could have Curse Res, if that's a concern in Zodiarch. So I think that this is going to be a really powerful adventure, but there are a lot of Light adventures that are really strong. Annalie just came out fairly recently. So you may not need to summon for Albert, but if you're just a fan of him, his kit is really solid. If you happen to pick him up and get lucky enough, since he will be hard to target as a 5-star, I am a really big fan of him. And I didn't even talk about this last ability very much, but 25% strength when electrified, and this lasts for 20 seconds and fills up passively, that is really solid. That is a potentially consistent strength buff, so I think that's going to be really good. It is kind of taking forever on dual Wormprints. I agree, and I kind of feel the same way about Levin's champion not synergizing with him. It feels a little weird. It synergizes more with Kuhai, I think. Yeah, OP, straight up 25% strength buff when electrified. I'm surprised there's not a time limit on this, but there is on electrified, so it kind of makes sense. Well, let's go ahead and move on, though, to the dragon. Gilgamesh. Kind of like a robot or ancient machine. That's the vibe I get. If you're more familiar with Gilgamesh, you can correct me or update me about that. But the cool thing about that is, if that's actually a thing, technology is known to have played a role in Dragalia Lost history. And it's what created a feud between dragons and humans. So if that were actually a thing, I think that would be awesome. Maybe that'll get explored more in the future. But it says he is known as the King of Kings, said to have once ruled the world, and his achievements live on in legend. Nary a single shadow can exist before the great power he possesses. That is a very epic description for this guy. Looks like a mix of Reshiram and Arceus. He does. I think his color pattern definitely does. It reminds me a lot of Mithra from Xenoblade Chronicles, like the silver, gold, white, and green. That color pattern. Less robot, more armored dragon. I could see that. Gilgamesh does really look like Unova remakes confirmed. Yeah, I agree. I'm a big Gen 5 fan, so I wouldn't be opposed to that. But his skills are Subjugating Sword. We got to see what that looks like in the preview. It looks pretty good. And then Light, Strength, and Shadow Res 2 is his ability. So if the user is attuned to Light, increases Strength by 50% and adds 15% to Shadow Resistance. So just like Prometheus, probably will have 35% Strength buff and 15% Shadow Res when he's not max Unbound. That is pretty solid. So I like this dragon. I don't have Cupid. This is one of the things that appeals to me on this showcase. I think if you already have Cupid, or you have Jean and are maining a healer, you probably don't want this guy. But I think just the look, everything about him, if you're a new player in this game and you don't have a strong Light team, you probably won't starting off. This seems like a very good showcase. Gen 5 talk. Thinking about summoning here to make my Halloween Ellie stacked. Yeah, my Halloween Ellies could use a dragon upgrade, and it would be awesome if I were able to get this. But as usual, I'll probably wait and make a decision. I want to see what other 4-stars are featured and get the translations for the 4-stars we saw in the video. But then the first Wyrmprint is Shining Overlord, the Shining Overlord, and has some really majestic artwork too. Good strength. It's in that upper echelon of strength, and it continues this trend that we've got of these Wyrmprints that focus on weapon types. So this one focuses on swords. Skill damage of 35%. That is a lot of damage, and swords charge up skills pretty quickly. Most of them have a very low costing damage dealing first skill. So maybe somebody can correct me in the chat, but is this the amount that was on the Dragon Tamer Wyrmprint? Was it also 35%? I was never able to summon that one, and that one provided lance skill damage. So the second ability is Dragon's Claws 2. Each shapeshift increases strength for the remainder of the quest, up to 3 times per quest. So I have to wonder if this stacks. The only other adventurers, or the only adventurers at all who have this, are Yuden and Zanefried. So maybe it stacks. And okay, so the skill damage is the same on Dragon Tamer Max Unbound. So kind of continuing that trend, we also got a little bit of a variation with the Kung Fu Masters Wyrmprint last time. I'm not crazy about these Wyrmprints. I just feel that they're really specific. Hey Eris. Hello everyone joining the stream. Thank you so much for stopping by. I feel like these are really specific, and as a lower spending player, it's hard to justify the resources in these just because a generic Wyrmprint, if you have it like a Resounding Rendition or something, you're going to be able to use that in a lot of situations. So that's my only gripe with these. It is good to see Wyrmprint's power pushed a little bit, because right now Wyrmprints still need that upgrade. We still kind of need that dual Wyrmprint system to make them feel a little better to summon, to actually justify a wider variety of Wyrmprints getting used. But yeah, I see your comment about the light banner, Liz, and I am really confused about it, but I think that it was basically to get Albert out here for the wider release. That's kind of my opinion. Anyway, the last Wyrmprint is a Solitary Light. This one has a lot of HP. Light Affliction Guard 2. So this is similar to the Rose Prince. Resist afflictions up to 3 times per quest, and Shatter Res of 8%. Really pretty artwork. I think this is the Dragon and the Adventurer that are going to be in the raid. I really don't know how to evaluate these. I didn't have the Rose Prince. To me, these look a lot more relevant under dual Wyrmprints. And gonna read the comments a bit. It's not as flexible, but having a boosted print for specific weapons is an amazing thing. I would agree with that. I also think just having a relevance to weapon types is cool, because dragons care about elements and weapons care about elements. And we started to go in this direction, like with this Wyrmprint, where it also cares about elements. But I kind of like that Wyrmprints care about something else. Like they care about what weapon you have. So on that side, I do like it. And if you're building a specific adventurer, they are better damage. So that's true. It kind of just depends. Like if you buy the monthly packs and you have a lot of golden keys, or there's a favorite character you have, you can feel really comfortable that these are going to be one of the best options, if not the best option. Like if you love Yuden, or you love even someone like Naveed would be great with this, any sword unit really, then you can be pretty confident this is going to be a good investment for them. But if you kind of play with a variety of characters, and that's what I've found to be effective, just trying to clear content, then I would probably just keep this at 0 Unbound, but be very happy to use it on my sword units. So anyway, that is the preview that we got, guys. I'm really curious to hear what you think about it. I am going to wait for more information before I decide whether to summon. The Poison Res is a little questionable to me. I think this will mean the raid boss inflicts poison, but I wonder if you're a newer player, if you want to go for this or maybe hold out. But I think just because he's light element, Albert is a really good candidate, and hopefully we'll get more details on the abilities on the other adventurers. I think that that should make or break your decision. The 5 stars are hard to summon and hard to target. If you're new to this game, it's kind of a bonus whenever you get a 5 star, but the 4 stars are a little more available if you save up. So we saw that we're going to get another light sword unit. She looks like she has a heal, possibly an area of effect heal that buffs her strength or her skill damage, and has an attacking skill with some range. And then we saw that we're going to get a lance user, and from what I've heard, his first skill inflicts bog. He's a 3 star, you'll probably pick him up along the way, and his second skill is a defense buff. Both of those look like really nice pickups. So I'm on the fence. I'm going to wait probably till the last day of the showcase. When you do that, you get a preview like this, and you can decide if you want to summon on this showcase or the next one. So I think that's all I'm going to say about Thunder and Splendor. But now, let's get into some Void battles. I have a lot of wings saved up. So I'm just going to create a Void Zephyr room, and you guys can school me a little bit on how this fight works. I have been fairly successful with it. It kind of depends on my level of focus. It is going to be interesting reading the chat and battling at the same time. But I'm bringing Naveed. I do have a Void weapon. I tried using my Flame Sword, my 5 star, and I got wrecked. So yeah, Void Zephyr, the dull mechanic kind of is painful. The Dragon Delay also is a little bit painful, but it doesn't matter too much. We could go for the epithet if you guys want, or we could just do some normal clears. I don't mind. Good to see you guys. Nice to see some familiar faces in here and some new faces. So I still have my Shroom Smasher epithet from yesterday where we got that. Let's go ahead and take him down. So yeah, 4 strike seems to work out really well. Definitely with the sword unit, that's the game plan. Usually the main killer for me in this match is greed. So I like to iframe everything I can, and that can get me in trouble. The other thing that I often get hit by is that wing attack, that kind of flap that goes forward. But Naveed's Crystalline Blades is long enough that it's pretty good at iframing those tornadoes, the 3 that he sends out. And luckily it was long enough to avoid that. So now we're going to start 4 strike spamming. If you hold down 4 strike when Savage Squall comes out, you won't be knocked back. It's not always a bad thing to get knocked back, but if you're a melee character, it can give you a little bit extra damage. And there, I'm trying to be a little more conservative. And if you guys don't know, this is where you want to stack up. But if you're doing 4 strikes actively, you can break. For this weapon, I just have the final tier 4-star flame sword with dull res, but it's not unbound at all. It's just basic. So just mashing here. Naveed's second skill can iframe that pretty well. And it looks like if you do a skill at that point, you also avoid knockback. This, you kind of have to walk around in a circle. If you want to be really greedy, you can try getting some hits, and that's, you know, I felt the pain of that greed before. We should be able to break here. And I only have 4 Radiant Baubles, or Baubles, gemstones circling around me, so might as well go for that. I actually got my dragon. Doesn't always happen. So, pretty easy clear. I'm going to catch up on the chat a little bit. 2 minutes left. Yeah, it was fairly easy. Won't be able to join in the Zephyr beatdowns until I got my weapon for Naveed all done. Mine is mostly done. Hey, we actually got a Void Seed. That is going to be nice for next month's Void treasure trade. Pretty good luck. Yeah, room got full. How about everybody who was in this room? If you want to sit out next time, we'll be able to get in some new players. So Mark's Harpy, Neil, and DeBeast. We'll make a new room, and if you guys don't mind sitting out, hopefully some new players can join in. Wait, we just got the epithet? I'm still catching up on the chat. We cleared with 2 minutes left. Was that the epithet? Whoa. That wasn't too bad at all. Your Naveed only has 1800 strength with Void Sword. I'll go ahead and equip this. I'll show you guys my Naveed, and then we'll do some more rounds. Wow, that was really lucky. And we had a healer. I don't know if it's normal to have a healer when you go for the speed clears, but Energize on Hildegard is awesome. So, Zephyr Zapper. Sorry, Shroom Smasher. Maybe I'll come back to that at some point. Can Marty be good here? Probably. Probably. I think that any adventurer can be made to work here, but you're going to have to look out for sleep a little bit. So this is my assortment of Void adventurers that I'll use, or HMS adventurers. This is my Naveed, so he only has 1400 strength, and a lot of that is this weapon. So if I equip the 5-star, it's 2100, and it affects his HP a lot. Put that back on Yuden. How about the changes to freeze, stun, and sleep? Yeah, what did they change on stun and sleep? I know for freeze, if you get one hit on your teammate, you'll unfreeze them, which is good. Strength doesn't mean much in Zephyr. I agree. It just does. It feels a little bad to have such a low strength when you have already built out a good weapon, but you really need those dull res weapons, I think, if you're a melee character. It's what makes it kind of hard to play as Vanessa right now. But we did get a good break. I'm still like going back and forth with the chat. Let's go ahead and make a new room. I also don't have Hilde. She didn't come home for me. All right, I think I'm basically caught up. I have found it much more challenging to actually use a healer. I've tried to use Varric on this a couple times, and I feel like I'm way more comfortable with Naveed. With Stun and Sleep, after a cooldown period, if you get hit with a second Stun Sleep effect, it wakes you up. I guess that's nice. I mean, it's in the player's favor, so that actually could be very relevant when you get juggled in High Midgard Stormer. Depending on how that actually works, that could be pretty nice. All right, looks like we got a new crew here. Zainfried. I have never seen Zainfried used in this, but I'm down to try. Or whoever you want to bring out. Who would I recommend between Mikoto and Azalith? The nice thing about investing in Mikoto is he would be available to you for High Midgard Swarmer more easily. But Azalith has sleep res, so I'd probably say Azalith, and that way you get to kind of use two of them. So there we have an Azalith. I've never tried to take my Mikoto into this. I haven't built the dull res sword, or blade rather. So I don't know how hard it is to avoid sleep really. All right. Seems like we're ready to go. Well, I wouldn't mind Zane. I mean, he does have, you know, if you can dodge, he can probably do just fine. If we're able to break before the group up, and we could probably 3-person the group up if we have to. But yeah, I think elemental weakness makes it a lot harder. So I don't know if I got hit there. I see those little red numbers appearing. Had to kind of get away. I also have a more conservative worm print on Naveed. So I actually have the Holiday worm print, Wish Upon the Yule Tree, that gives healing double buff. I like it with his kit. It means he can heal himself. It's a really small amount of healing though, so it's nothing necessarily special, but the extra defense when your HP is high is also kind of nice. So now I need to start force striking a little bit more. Oh, it seems like we'll be perfectly fine with 4 strikes. Yeah, that worm print would be good on Julieta. I am really considering max unbinding it. Oh, couldn't get my skill off in time. This time we'll just use it. Uh-oh. Sorry, Ezlith. Don't worry. I think we still have the damage potentially. This is going to be a tight break if we can get it. I don't think we can get it. But as 3 people, with Naveed's defense buff, he's usually fairly healthy. Uh-oh. I used that skill early. Sorry, guys. I think you can take it. I think you can take it down. Hang in there. If not, we'll have to retry and get our revenge. Oh, nice. Nice iframe, Naveed. So we have 1 minute left. Oh, this part might be kind of tricky. I think you guys are looking good. I'm worried about that red tattered sky, or I'm not sure what it's called in this version. But the red marker. This is so close. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I wish I had survived just a little bit longer. That kind of shows how punishing the fights can be. Where I was in somewhat good shape. Like, I was a little bit low on health, but I used my skill slightly too early, and then my skill ran out before the tornado ran out, and I immediately died. So, sorry about that, guys. But we'll get it next time. It's funny how we can oscillate from, like, we got the timed clear to we died, but you guys at the end were about to pull it out. So, good job. I'm going to catch up on chat a little bit, and I'll make the room. Feel free to rejoin if you want from that last round, since we could use with some revenge against Zephyr, but I'll just take whoever comes in. Yeah, that was a big F for me. It was definitely my greed. Like, I tried to iframe that move, did it too early. If I had been more conservative, ran away. I think that's one of the things I've started to feel about iframing, is that when I started playing High Midgard Stormer, I was very aggressive because I felt like my strength was so low. I needed to take every chance I could to get in damage. And over time, I found that that is actually what leads to my undoing more matches than not. So now I kind of feel like those new weapons not having a third skill, not letting you iframe with a third skill, it's kind of a good thing. Like, it kind of makes you play a little bit more conservatively, which tends to lead to more clears. So let's go ahead and start up this next match. Hopefully we can take it down this time. Room full. Yeah, I wonder what other system we can use. Because as soon as I make a room, it's going to be visible to you guys. And I know on mobile it's hard to switch. Nice. We can just stay on him. Oh, oh, phew. I was like, I did it again too early. But luckily that the spin attack that he does around him, it doesn't really last that long. That one. I'm kind of off rhythm a little bit here. Ideally, I like to use my second skill to iframe that short range attack, and then I have my first skill to iframe the 3 big or 4 big tornadoes that Zephyr puts out. I don't know if this is good or bad, but I kind of just stopped doing everything when it comes time to force strike. I don't use my skills, so maybe you guys can critique that depending on what you guys do. Oh, I couldn't roll out in time. Luckily, we're all pretty much topped off. There, I probably could have stayed in and used my skill, but... Another common thing I've had trouble with is I will force strike into the tornadoes before they're done and eat some damage. I've also found with this spin, I don't really know what to call it, like a clock move. That's what I refer to it as. I'll often start going the wrong way and then kind of have to think about it a minute and go back the other way. It seems like we're looking pretty good here. For me, Zephyr is easier than Manticore. They both have the same suggested might, but I could see how for some people it could be the opposite, just depending on who you've chosen to build. Another thing is that second skill of Naveed's, it's not really long enough duration to avoid those tornado attacks. Clock is getting a little bit low, but so is his health. Oh, I guess there I was using a skill, but it still pushed me back, so I'm not really sure on that. So I think we'll break, and then we should get the kill. There we go. All right. You might want to make a room and hide the room if you want to hand it to specific people. That could be an approach in the future. I think I need to figure out how... Man, we've gotten good luck today. Got a Zephyr ruin. This is really good. I was going to say I need to figure out how roles work. I haven't figured that out with respect to streaming yet. That's something I want to play around with for sure. I see a suggestion to make a separate room. Definitely encourage you guys if you want to get your own rooms going. Feel free to do so. There's a lot of people here probably looking to play, so thank you so much, everybody, in this run. Another clear. I'm going to keep catching up on chat. Manticore keeps moving, and you can't see the indicators. Zephyr feels so much easier. That's kind of how I feel. And the other big thing is Manticore, he doesn't have as much of a pattern. He may have it. I just feel like it's harder to intake. It's harder to sort of digest. If he is using his moves in a certain order, I haven't been able to tell that. Zephyr does everything in a certain order. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you should feel with it, I think. Single local tornado can be avoided by the bobble? Yes, definitely. You can't skill Savage Squall, but melee can Force Strike to negate it, like the opening burst. Yeah, so that's kind of what I thought, but it seemed like when I was using my S1, Naveed's first skill earlier on Savage Squall, it seemed like I didn't get knockback. But then when I used my second skill, I did get knockback, so I'm not sure. I see epithet written. Did we get the epithet that time? I didn't look at the clock. No, we definitely didn't, right? Because we were down at 30 seconds. Is Zephyr weak when the chaser is going? I've seen him break a few times when the chaser target's on. Not necessarily weak. He doesn't do anything when the target's going, though. So that is a good time to spam Force Strikes if you haven't already broken him. Discord is a great place for finding people to run with. That has been really helpful for me in getting a lot of titles in the game and getting things like my first Hybrid Hilda clear. You guys are really good at this game and have some really powerful units, so here we go. I'm going to make another room, free-for-all room. Manticore has a set order? That's curious to me, because I feel like once he's in overdrive, I get really lost. Zephyr in a Hawaiian shirt? That should be a meme, I feel. You won't get knockback with Vihilde Shield. That could have been what it was. That very well could have been what it was. I don't know. I didn't know that her shield was big enough to stop the Storm Squall. Alright. Some familiar faces this time. You guys are fast on the draw, but let's go ahead and get a clear and then we can make another room too. What are you guys finding are your favorite of the Void bosses so far? Because for me, it's the exact opposite of what David Bonilla said. I feel like Manticore is the hard one for me and Zephyr's a lot easier. But I think it's a lot to do with who I had built. And I already had Naveed built for High Midgard Stormer at one point, so... Personally, I was saying this yesterday, but I feel like the Shroom is the most fun. Just because it has some like silly mechanics. You get all those tiny shrooms. I just think it's interesting. But Zephyr, of the harder two, like Zephyr and Manticore, I find Zephyr to be easier, but also kind of more enjoyable because it is such a pattern. And I guess I just haven't cracked the code of Manticore yet. The epithet is interesting. I was really surprised. We did a few runs toward that in Discord yesterday, and it seems like for the... Oh, nice break. It seems like for Manticore, a big part of the strategy is like using a lot of stun, freeze, and sleep-inducing characters, and just making it so he can never really move or do anything, or at least for a large part of the match, as well as using shapeshift prep, which now has kind of become... I should have used my second skill first, I guess, but it kind of worked out. But shapeshift prep has now become pervasive in so many parts of the game. It used to be mainly a raid thing. The other day, we did a couple of clears in High Midgard Stormer with no healer, and we all just ran Phoenix, and everybody had shapeshift prep, and it was actually really pretty comfortable to clear. So it took a few attempts, but mostly just like we were making various mistakes or that kind of thing. All right, this time I'm going to use this just so I get a 4th bauble. Oh, I actually got my dragon. I think that the way Dragon Delay works is it takes off chunks of your dragon gauge, but I really don't watch my dragon gauge too closely, so I just assume I'm not going to get a dragon in these fights most of the time. Nice. Had a lot of time left. So I'm going to read which of the Void bosses you guys like. Manticore attacks have tails. They do have tails. They do have tails. My reaction time is just so bad that with the tails after overdrive, like, it's good to be familiar with them, I think. Once you are, it gets a little easier, but I still feel like that's the one where I fail the most. Alright, so if you were in that round, please take a break for a minute. I see some people who are still trying to get in. I see your comment, Noria, so hopefully you're still available to play if you want to get in. Let's see what else you guys wrote. Shielding against some attacks are amazing. The shield, I usually play Hildegard on Manticore, and that shield is a really big help. The shroom was a surprise. I agree. The first time it dispersed, I thought disperse for me has an association of like knocking something back, propelling something backward or away, and not necessarily spreading out into multiple mushrooms. I'm going to make the room now, like I said, if you don't mind sitting out one, if you played in the last one. Sleeping all the shrooms with Zanka is so satisfying. Oh, I have to try that. I haven't tried that yet. I want to fight Void Cupid because I hate his eyes. I think Void Gilgamesh would be really sick. I hope they do Void Gilgamesh before Void Cupid. Noria! Hey, I'm glad you were able to get in. I saw that you were hoping to for a while, so... And Noob Sui and Wobbles. Hopefully I pronounced your names correctly. I'm still catching up on what you guys have to say. You got Manticore title on your first pub. That's amazing. I like Void battles because I'm having fun with the mechanics and all. Alright. Oh, do we want to bring a healer in here? I can switch if you guys want me to. I have this Verica. I'm not a great healer, though. I actually feel like I get hit more as a healer, so I'll try my best. Alright, sounds good. Here we go. Thank you for the congrats. It's still kind of janky. But, you know, a lot of my content is still kind of janky, so I'm just trying to do my best. This is not my really field of expertise, but I'm glad that sticking with this game, like, there's been such a community around it, and hopefully we can do this to celebrate, do this to play things like raids every now and then, and I'm still going to try to put out some regular content, so tomorrow I'll probably do a regular showcase review. Oh, already got dulled. So as a healer, always kind of have your eye in that top left corner and see what's going on with your buddies. If anyone... Okay, there's a good time to heal. If anyone's playing Cerise, there's also a little bit of incentive to... Oh, that was a bad roll. Oh, that was a really bad roll. There's also a little bit of incentive to throw out your S1 when you have it, because that HP regen does count. Okay, somebody pointed out that only melee can do that to avoid knockback. Oh no! I'm sorry. No, that's totally on me. I need to get a heal up. I'm not even really force striking, but it's because I'm just trying to charge heals now. Alright. I'm not sure if we're going to have the damage on this one. My Verica is not really a hot... Oof, that was a missed roll as well. Ouch. This is still the first overdrive, right? We need to break, yeah. That's okay. It's really kind of my fault. A lot of people say like the healers are easier roles to play, or like ranged are easier to play in this. Like people that use Sinoa, I've heard, had a lot of success with her without using any dull res or dragon delay res. Same with Cerise, but I'm kind of bad at playing ranged in this still. Well, I mean, we've made a dent. I wish there was just a quick retry option, so we didn't have to regroup our entire group. Maybe if I start force striking, we could get a break. And if somebody has a dragon, we could deal damage, but let's see. Oh, that kind of missed. I don't have my dragon because I've been getting hit. I don't really know why I threw that out there, but... Oh. Oh no! So close, guys. I'm sorry. I took some dulls too, that Verica DPS. That was a fun one though. I kind of like when it's a little bit closer like that. No problem, Noria. I see you're stuck in a corner. That's on me. It's always on the healer. I'm gonna try again. We're getting close to about an hour that we've been here, so I will probably stop after this one or maybe one more. I'm gonna try stay as a healer if we don't have anyone else that's like really loves playing a healer, just so I get some more experience. But up to you guys. If one of you wants to play a healer, okay, I see that you have Valentine's Hildegard, which is awesome, so I don't mind switching to a melee character. I'm looking at the chat. Will I reveal my face? Probably not. I have to think a lot about that because I feel like until I made my channel, I've always been somebody that kind of compartmentalized my gaming hobby and my work and my life. So I like to kind of keep those in their own bins. And I don't know if there would be any potential consequences of an overlap there. So that's kind of why. Battles remind me of a smaller version of doing WoW raids with the mechanics. The mechanics are good. I do like the mechanics. I only played WoW maybe once, and just to try it out. So, okay, cool to know what you have. That works for me. I can stay as Verica. Healer requires a lot more thought and reaction. I agree with that. You have to kind of focus. You have to see what's going on with everybody. I feel like healers get blamed and get underestimated the amount of difficulty that it takes. But I'm not trying to use that as an excuse for my poor healing at all. I just think that like a lot of people kind of give Verica a bad rap. Yeah, quick retry option. We really need that. Or yeah, anytime you're in a group. So I'm looking at sniper time. Try to start attacking once you're out of the purple multi-directional gust instead of running all the way around. I feel like my brain may not have comprehended that. So I'm going to just try survive. But I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to throw this out for Cerise. Give her a little buff. And since a few of us had taken some damage, myself included. Wow. Pretty quick overdrive. Not force striking because we're all a little low. I want to get off one more skill. So you were making a comment about this. I don't know that I understood though. I usually do it like that. So there's another way I could run around and get some extra damage off. Is that right? Oh, that was a bad time to use my skill. But it kind of worked out fine. Dull's a little bit unfortunate, but when you're not a damage dealer, it's not too bad. The loss in the dragon gauge does kind of hurt though. So my Verica is a 4-star. She is kind of maxed out for a 4-star. Uh-oh. Wasn't really prepared for that. I think we're all healthy though, so that's good. Chain sleep. What's the right emotion for this? Oh. Wow. This is yeah, this is pretty great. Hanging out over here. I will try heal you guys as soon as I can. We could use some more health. Victory will be ours though. I agree with that wholeheartedly. There we go. Thank you for the carry. Okay. I think I probably performed about as badly or a little bit worse in this, but you guys carried pretty hard, so it kind of worked out. Thank you for the run. Let's see what we get as our rewards. Okay, so just some more feathers, but that's always good. 7. That's a pretty good amount. So I should ask this. I only have 2 wings left, and then I'm probably going to head out. Does anybody have a preference for golem or shroom? Because I do want to get as many people in as I can, and I know like for some of you, golem and shroom are probably at the top end of what you can do, and you want a good co-op team. I know a lot of others are just going with Zephyr. So I see a vote for shroom, I see a vote for golem. I see I love the golem. Hey, nice playing with you, Andres. Golem. Golem. I see a lot of golems. Golem melts too fast. Shroom would be more fun to watch. Well, how about this? We could do a golem, and then I'll just use some ashes, and we can do a shroom as well. I probably need to craft a dull res eventually for my Lily, because I love to love to get hit by that golem. He is one of the cuter void bosses, don't you think? I can solo this, but my consistency is kind of off. It depends a lot on my freeze success. So you probably don't need dull res. The general person probably doesn't need dull res. I kind of feel like I need dull res. It's not too bad. Hey, Toast Crumb, Neil, Pat. It's not too bad, but I often get hit with the dull when I'm doing single player. Like, some of the moves come out quick enough that if I ever want to auto battle this, like, it wouldn't be bad to have a dull res weapon. So I won't mind. Like, I wouldn't mind getting it. Panda, I hope so. I'm sorry that I don't really have a better system yet for doing that. I'm gonna try to think about that before the next time I stream. The next time I stream would probably be maybe so we can play the new raid together. But I think this is gonna be my last stream for this week, and maybe we do that next week. Well, at least I didn't get hit yet. But that attack kind of whiffed. So chaining freeze on this guy, you kind of just feel bad for him after a while. But then he does this. Well, no, he didn't even get to do his move. I was going to say he does that move in a cross, and that does deal a lot of damage. Bog is also really effective, so there you go. There is your golem match. How many people are trying to get in that have really been wanting to play? Because if you speak up, I'm sure everyone's courteous enough that we can get you into a room if you guys really want to get in, and we can get a shroom match going. Because I saw that Panda wanted to play. I know that Noria got into that match and probably wants some revenge with their Ezolith, or maybe whatever you'd use against Shroom. We could maybe in the future provide it via Discord, but I run with the Discord peeps a lot, so at the same time, it's always good to get some new blood, and I know like people use different platforms, so really I'm gonna brainstorm. I don't know. But I don't mind, of course. It's always a pleasure playing with everybody. I don't mind running with Discord peeps or anyone else. Tweet it, okay. There's a thought. Alright. So I'm gonna make a room. since I am kind of running out of time today, guys, and then I'll keep thinking about that for sure and use my mind, and we'll see what we come up with. Let's switch to, we need Ieyasu for this, I think. Really, there are a lot of great options for Shroom. Shroom is kind of fun in that way too. Send out a psychic message. That could work. I like that we've gotten so many of these from the treasure trade because it feels like a big commitment to pop a Blessed Ash. All right, 3617492. We have Panda who really wants to come in, so please come in, Panda. We have Gummy, Francisco, Esrin. Gummy, were you in an earlier match? I know I saw your, you mentioned your name in the chat. I know Esrin just came in, and I know Francisco was here at the beginning of chat. The stickers, we need more stickers, like, yes, I was already in a match before. Well, guys, I only have about 5 more minutes, so I'm going to just go for it, and there will be more chances in the future. Really appreciate getting to be here with you guys and just getting to spend some time directly. One of the things I want to work on, obviously, is just the visuals, like the whole look of my channel. Now that it's getting bigger, that's one area I really struggle. So just the look of the stream, keeping it professional, but also just so I can see the chat and play at the same time. That is kind of a challenge. And hopefully in future streams, that'll be a little bit easier. If you aren't on the Discord, I definitely recommend you stop by. We just hit 500 people, which is awesome. Pretty active community too. If you want to play co-op, that is a good place to find people to play. And if you're intimidated by Discord like I was, it's a smaller group than you might find on the official server. So if that's something that appeals to you, stop by and we can definitely play co-op there with relative quiet. So if I wasn't able to get a match in with you today, ping me there and we can definitely get in a match. I love seeing the freeze around these bosses. I wish every boss could be frozen just so you could see like giant raid bosses all the time getting frozen and getting other afflictions on them. Seems like we have this guy pretty much taken care of. All right. Am I going to stream tomorrow, Eris? I am not going to stream tomorrow. This is going to be the last stream for this week. Probably will stream at some point for the new raid that's coming out, but I'm not able to do it tomorrow, so likely going to do it next week, and tomorrow I'll just do my pre-recorded video reviewing the showcase, talking about everything, and hopefully that'll be able to come out pretty early in the day. It always takes a while to get those done. I don't want to rush it too much, so if not late tomorrow, then the next day, and hopefully that'll keep the quality up. As for the rest of the chat, the Discord link is in the description below. It's a server that I created for this channel. Not getting the epithet sooner from the first raid. Yeah, that is the nice thing about Discord. It's like you all have a common goal. I never was really a part of it. It was something that as a Nintendo fan, I was intimidated by voice chat. And the thing is, you don't even need to do voice chat. It's a lot of text channels and text chat for the most part. So that's the appeal of it to me, is just having those conversations, like getting into the strategy of the game. And it's a good place to hang out. So thank you so much, Francisco, for the donation and for saying I made your day. Really good to see such a crowd here. I'll show you my friend code. I saw you ask about friend requests. I'll show you that, but unfortunately, I have all these pending requests, and I just leave one slot open so that I can get these, and then if people are inactive, I can cycle people in. I hope they expand the friend list size. Player info. There you go. And we got our Zephyr Zapper today on our first run, which is crazy to me. But, alright everyone. I think that's going to do it for this stream. Take care. Have a great rest of your week and a good weekend. Expect an upload of that showcase review. And I'll see you next time.